What's the worst thing you've witnessed at a bachelor/bachelorette party? Story 1. Went with the boys to a strip club down in Mexico. We were watching two girls rub whipped cream all over each other when we heard a scream. We all looked up and one of the girls came running out of the bathroom yelling in Spanish. And to our astonishment, one of them had just died of an overdose in the bathroom. Several men went upstairs, picked up the girl's limp body, and carried it downstairs and out the front door. All the girls were shaken and crying. Then the boss called them all into the back room while we all sat around gaping at each other. 5 minutes later, the girls came out with fresh makeup and smile on their faces, acting as if nothing had happened. We all got so creeped out, we just went home. Story 2. We went on the Thursday before the Saturday wedding, as this was allegedly the best night at a local strip club that was notorious around town. This one girl who was really trying hard on stage tosses her panties at the groom-to-be and hits him square in the face. Fast forward to Friday and the groom has pink eye. He's freaking out and drunk. He demands that our buddy punch him in the eye, thinking that a black eye could conceal the true sin and offer a more wedding-friendly excuse. He took the hit like a champ. The bride was furious, but the wedding went on. So, in conclusion, the groom got pink eye from a nasty stripper and got punched to cover it. Story 3. The night of my bachelorette party, which was very tame and pretty lame, a few of us decided to go out to the bars. We witnessed another party where there was a group of about 20 or so girls who were hammered. The bride seemed more messed up than the rest of them. She proceeded to call over the waitress and they started flirting, like a lot. They went into the back office and started moaning super loud. I could only guess what was going on. My friends and I watched in horror. Then she announced to everyone at the bar that she couldn't get married because she realized she was a lesbian. My night turned out to be pretty entertaining, but once in a while I think back to that girl and wonder if she went through with it or not. Oh man, that's quite a story. I think it's safe to say that your bachelorette party got an unexpected upgrade to wild and memorable, thanks to that bride's impromptu coming out. I bet she's the reason the phrase, "what happens at the bachelorette party stays at the bachelorette party" exists. I really hope she found happiness though, whether she went through with the wedding or not. But hey, at least you got some free entertainment and a story that'll be a hit at parties for years to come. Story 4. I was at a bachelor party at a house where they brought a couple of escorts over. They were dancing and doing some party tricks in the living room, including shooting ping pong balls into a bucket. The bucket kept getting moved farther and farther back, so the girls had to push harder and harder to launch the balls. In the end, one of them was trying to set a new personal record and ended up blowing explosive diarrhea all over the carpet. By the time this happened, everybody was completely faced. So instead of properly cleaning it up, my buddy just threw some old towels over it and we kept on partying. His fiancée was pissed because they ended up spending a fair chunk of their wedding gift money on new carpet for the first floor of their house, since the stain never came out of the Berber carpet. Edit. So I'll clarify a bit. The girls were shooting ping pong balls from their but apparently when you do this, you flex the same muscles that you would when you're going to poop. So that's how the girl ended up all over. Reply 1. This reminds me of my Thursday night. It was a Tinder date. We matched and I decided to end the 8-month dry streak I'd been having by just being super forward about what I wanted. A few hours later, I'm at his house and we start hooking up. Without getting too graphic, was involved and that was no problem. The real disaster happened when, let's just say, his face was buried in my downstairs. He was great. I was happy, he was happy, and things got a bit escalated as my body clenched up for the climax. I sprayed liquid shit into his clean white sheets. I didn't get any on him, but it was definitely pooled in front of his face. Like, this isn't the first time I've had a poopy accident during a furious spank sesh, but never like this. Story 5. Groom was getting married at 1:30 p.m., the day after his bachelor party. As expected, the groomsmen took him out for some heavy drinking. He woke up the next morning in a hotel room to a 10 a.m. wake-up call with a sincere wish that he enjoyed his stay at the Kansas City Holiday Inn, faked by a friend. The best man had prepared ahead of time by picking up phone books, stationery, those local events and attractions, flyers, and magazines, notepads, and other items from a hotel in Kansas City, and substituted those materials for the ones for the Chicago hotel that they dumped him at. Of course, he checked the desk, found the Kansas City phone book, and panic ensued. That's amazing. Nothing too ridiculous, and yet still ensuring that panic ensues. It's wholesome and evil at the same time. Story 6. Best Mates Stag Night. Let's call him Tom. 35 guys in a hockey club bar. Jugs of Tom Collins and martinis doing the rounds as chasers for significant beer. One guy, just about smaller than anybody else, let's call him Gary, decides it would be a good idea to throw the groom, Tom, in the river. We all agree it would be far funnier to throw Gary into the river. He finally managed to get out of the river, but is A, very, very wet, and B, covered in thick, sticky mud, grass, pondweed, etc. He walks back into cheers and applause, and about 20 minutes later, Gary's girlfriend arrives to pick him up. She walks, looks left, and there is a large screen showing a rather extreme video. Then she looks right, and there is a baying crowd of 34 very drunk guys. She looks in front of her, and there is Gary, covered in crap and even drunker. She storms off and gets in her car and locks the doors. Gary staggers outside, dripping mud over the path, and starts pleading with her to let him in the car and take him home. After 5 minutes or so, she lowers her window. The talk continues whilst 34 of us crowd around the windows to watch. Eventually, she smiles and unlocks the car. He got in through her window, which was messy. Story 7. My groom, one of my closest friends since age 15, wanted his bachelor party in Key West. We all had destination bachelor parties. They were all awesome. First night at the strip club, everyone buys him all the lap dances he wants for like 3 hours, and then suggests we go check out another place with the remainder of the group. His dad was with us for the trip with one of his buddies and didn't really want to go to a bar with his son. No, we're staying here and you guys are buying me lap dances because that's what I want to do. More like a petulant child than anything. I'm paraphrasing here, but you get the idea. So, okay, we'll keep doing that then. It's his bachelor party after all. We'll check out what this town has to offer tomorrow. No, we won't. Second night, we're all back at the same club doing the same shit. Only this time the groom is literally any minute he's got in the back room getting a private dance. For a second, I thought, why am I not getting a lap dance right now? And could somebody buy me one? We are all getting tired of this. Fast forward to 2 a.m. to me yelling at him in the street for acting like an ungrateful prick and go get your own lap dances at $20 per song for the rest of the night. We still sometimes refer to him as a bridezilla/groomzilla and/or prima donna to this day. Love that guy. Great trip. Whoa, talk about a groom with a one-track mind. It's like he was on a mission to set the world record for most lap dances in 48 hours. I can't believe you guys put up with that for 2 whole nights. But hey, that's what friends are for, right? The fact that you still call him bridezilla/groomzilla or prima donna just shows how much an impression his antics left on everyone. It's good to hear you still love the guy though, and had a great trip. Story 8. Rented a cabin in the woods and had like 30 dudes there for my buddy's bachelor party. After about 36 hours of drinking and use, we got some escorts up there. Basically strippers that are more frisky. We are all hammered, and the 2 girls give my buddy, who is getting married, the best dance I've ever seen. I probably would have finished in my pants. After about 10 minutes of dancing, they suddenly take his pants down, and he was as soft as Play-Doh in front of everyone. Was just too wasted to respond. The collective groan from everyone at that moment is something I can still hear today. Story 9. Not me, but a long-standing neighbor of my parents. His wife is American and from a state bordering Canada. He went to his brother-in-law's bachelor party, which ended up with him getting blind and passing out. The bachelor party then stripped him and chucked him onto a slow-moving cargo train, thinking he would be found, and then promptly kicked off a couple of stops down. He ended up in Canada, naked, with no passport on the day of his wedding. Edit, I can assure you that my neighbor told me the story. Whether or not it actually is true or embellished is another matter. Story 10. Bachelorette party, happening at a sports club that was playing football on TV at the time. They had a stripper come in and oiled himself up. Had squirty cream, bride eating a banana from his underwear, etc. Basically, Usual bachelorette stuff, except the whole time in the middle of it was this old man sat on a bar stool watching the football. He was there before they turned up and was too stubborn to move. So he's there with his pint about a foot away from this oiled up male stripper, eyes glued to the screen, refusing to move. I guess he's got a one night a week away from the wife, and he'll be damned if anything is going to ruin it. Story 11. My bachelor party was in a strip club with friends and dad. I got drunk and made a gesture to a stripper standing behind some people who were sitting on the other side of the stage. Guy thinks I'm gesturing to his girlfriend/wife. He comes over and gets in my face as I stand up. We exchange words and he wants to go outside. I'm not going and tell him who I was gesturing to. Then he proceeds to get louder and says he was going to whoop my ass when everyone with me stood up. He realized just then a bachelor doesn't go to a bachelor party alone. I had 10 people with me, and he left in a hurry while his partner was waiting at the door as he walked away. Had a lot of fun that night. Story 12. My friends aren't really bro types, even though a lot of them work in bro fields. One was getting married, and he wanted a stereotypical Vegas bachelor party. If you're going to do that, then you need a stripper. So we hired one to come to the room for a show. Well, we don't really go to strip clubs much/ever, and we don't know what the right etiquette to have is when it comes to strippers. So we end up just sitting back and watching the show as though it's a performance. Nobody making any weird noises or cheering. It was just more like, yep, it's a naked girl. I've seen this before, but she is trying hard, so I'll just be polite. Oh, and she asked us to turn on some music so she could dance a bit. We kind of thought she would bring all the gear needed, so we put on some music. She stops after like a minute and asked, "Do you have anything more stripper?" Because it turns out the black keys or whatever someone decided to pull up from their iPhone wasn't raunchy enough or whatnot. Eventually, she asked if anyone wanted a lap dance. Most of the guys were in relationships, so it was a dead room. But the best man figures if the groom wants a stereotypical bachelor party, well then we should at least get the groom one. So he goes okay, and he gets a lap dance while looking awkwardly uncomfortable as the near silent room waits patiently for the song to end. After that, she offered to do some weird stuff, but we all thought that was enough of that and decided to just say we checked that box. I still don't get the appeal of strip clubs or why they seem too wild when other people go, "Hey guys, I'm looking to get but not really do anything. You all want to make it a weird group experience?" It was kind of a depressing experience whenever I had to go. Story 13. I go over my sister's house to pick my fiancée up from her bachelorette party. The whole bridal party is wasted, and my sister is the most drunk out of all of them. I walk into someone puking in a trash can. Shortly after I got there, I pissed my sister off to the point she starts hitting me. Mind you, my sister is 4'10", and I'm close to 6 foot. Another husband of a drunk bridesmaid picks my sister up to carry her away, and she kicks him in the nuts. She then goes back to punching me but slips and falls into a table. Oh boy, that sounds like a chaotic scene. It's like you walked into a bachelorette party that was off the rails. Your sister, being the most drunk of them all, must have been quite a sight. The fact that she started hitting you and then accidentally slipped and fell into a table just adds to the wildness of the night. And let's not forget the brave husband who tried to intervene only to be kicked by your sister. It seems like everyone had an eventful and unforgettable experience. Story 14. Went to a strip club and there was a bachelor party going on. The groom was blitzed and the party was loud as hell. As time went on, we could see the guy was getting a bit handsy, and security started talking to them but would walk off. Eventually, the girls got together and brought him on stage for a special dance. They stood him next to the pole and handcuffed him to it. The girl on stage with him did a quick sway and proceeded to grab his belt and take it off him. She pulled his pants down, leaving him in his boxers, and shimmied behind him. He was grinning from ear to ear. From there, the most epic whooping I've seen since I was a kid occurred. She whooped him with his belt so hard that he broke the handcuffs and had to be carried out by his buddies as we all sat there stunned. Story 15. This is less soap opera scandal and more day-to-day shitty behavior, but here goes. I was invited to this girl I worked with, and we had one of those friendships where we got on well at work, but then you realize outside the office you actually don't have much in common. So it started when she declared she wanted a straight female friend hen do and a gay guy abroad hen do, which meant that her MOH was at one and other bridal party members were at the other one. She then started moaning because her MOH hadn't organized her hen do 7 months before her wedding when her MOH's wedding was a few days before. Then she proceeded to get her mum to set up a Facebook group of which half the people declined or silently left. There were various demands put through the mum like no sashes, veils, and a list of activities that in total were fairly pricey, over £100, not including any overnight accommodation or travel. The mom was trying her best, but eventually, some of us nicely put our feet down to some of the demands. We turned up in the morning, which was pretty relaxed at a spa. None of us knew each other and only had the bride in common, but made the best of it. However, by the time the evening came around, it started at 10 a.m. and this was 6 p.m.-ish. We went somewhere nice for cocktails. At this point, the MOH's husband had bought a bottle of champagne to be sent to the table, which the bride proceeded to drink herself while we sat and watched. Then she said, "So, guys, is there really no stripper? I guess my other hen do will be my fun one." You could cut the tension at the table with a knife. I'm lucky and have a good job, but some of these gals were literally nursing one drink at each place and scraping coins together to pay their share. She's yet to thank everyone for going. I was so mad I declined the wedding invitation.
Please leave your story down below in the comments. I would absolutely love to make a video about them in the future. And also don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.